Most women today are walking through life appearing successful and strong, but internally they're exhausted. From staying quiet in rooms where they deserve to speak, from doubting themselves even when they were the most qualified person in the room, from carrying cultural expectations, emotional labor, and guilt. And today, we are going to be exploring what it truly means to unmute yourself. Welcome back to the Neelima Davuluri Show. Our guest today is someone who is creating deeply transformative conversations around voice, identity, emotional conditioning, and leadership. She has worked extensively in multicultural leadership, mentoring, and women's empowerment initiatives across Australia. Founder of Unmuting You and Dual Nation, leadership coach, speaker, mentor, and a change maker. Please welcome my dear friend, Richa Joshi.
Thank you so much. I sound like a rock star. I sound so good when somebody else introduces us, like, ooh, so nice.
Welcome to my show, Richa, and thank you 2 times. First, thank you is for being on my show. And the second one is you're the reason why this show exists in the first place. So for those who don't know, when I first had this idea of podcasting, the first person I reached out to was Richa, and she immediately took me under her wing, as it would normally be for you. You do that all the time. And she has actually explained me everything about what it is to do a podcasting, how to go about it, etc. And that's how my whole journey started. So I owe this to you, Richa.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much. And for our listeners, this is how Women Supporting Women looks like. A full circle moment for me, and also feels very surreal. So
You're so welcome. What did we talk about? You said the car has been in the garage for a long time.
Oh, you
right?
do remember? Yeah.
I do remember. So the car is out now. So it was just required a little bit of push. That's it.
Thank you so much.
You're so
you
welcome.
look gorgeous, wonderful today in bright, vibrant colors.
Yes.
And what I really admire about you, Richa, is how you always are very cheerful, colorful, and wear your heart on your sleeve always. Yes. And you're not hesitant or bottle up your emotions. So let's start, before we go to the unmuting you and the leadership, let's start with your journey. I know I've been associated with you for more than a year thanks to Aspire Leadership Program. Mm-hmm. But for our listeners' benefit, if you could just give us a quick intro about who is Richa, what's her story, how she got here.
Golly. I turned 48 this week, right? So there's a long story behind that. I will give a very small introduction of who I am. Hi, everyone. My name is Richa. Namaste to all those who are from India and understand the meaning behind Namaste. I am a multifaceted person, just like any and every other human. I'm a parent. I am a coach, a friend, a mentor, a community champion, a proud feminist. And I'm all those things and in between, all those mutations and pivots of all of those things. And a lot of what I do today as an adult is shaped by all the things that have happened to me, as it happens to a lot of people. So that's who I am. I mean, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Right.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. So how long have you been in Australia, if I may ask?
We have been here for past 13 years. So,
wow.
Yep. Not a very long time. But I'm not a shoo-in anymore per Australian standards. I'm a local now.
That's good. Cool. So let's go a bit deeper into your organization, Unmuting You. Firstly, a powerful name, Unmuting You. We've heard a lot about women being silenced and muted for a long time.
Yes.
And I am really appreciative of the title to start with, Unmuting You. So what is the story behind starting Unmuting You?
There's a long story, as with all the stories that happen with me. There's a long story behind that. First of all, the name came from my firstborn.
Oh, okay.
So they used to see me on Zoom calls all the time, and I always told them that just because Mama's on a meeting doesn't mean that if you need me, you can't walk into the room. Mm. And either of my kids would walk in, and I would actually mute, right? That's what you do on the calls. And then it says unmute.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what, no, this is what's happening, that's what's happening, and this, that, and the other. And the older one said, why don't you name your coaching service Unmuting You?
Oh.
And that's how the name actually came about.
It's so surprising. See how things go about.
It is. It's really, it's surreal that way, because that's how the name came about. And the actual piece around the whole thing of coaching by itself has such a dirty aura around it, right? Because it's an unregulated industry. People think of it as a poo-poo, woo-woo stuff and everything else and all those things. But for me, what has happened is that I started seeing a lot of different things where I felt a lot of women were going through what I went through. Right?
For example?
Yes. For example, I fell into motherhood and I forgot myself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And last year you heard me say a lot of those things as well. Yeah. But often what was happening was that because of the experiences that shaped me into who I am, I started realizing that I was becoming something I wasn't basically not happy with or joyful with or aligned with. It was just something that I wasn't anymore.
Yeah, different version.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was making me uncomfortable. That was making me feel disjointed, angry even, and disappointed with myself, right? And I got a recertification done because my first certification as a coach was over 20 years ago, and so much has changed, right? So much new knowledge, more research has come into play. And so I went with that, and then I was like, that's it, So that's how Unmuting You was born, because I was seeing not just myself, my mom or my nani or my dadi or your nani or your dadi, whatever. Generational stuff that was happening, not because we wanted it that way or they forced it on us, but it was just something that was happening. And then as a migrant, obviously there's a clash, right? So that was what was happening with Unmuting You.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. So what does Unmuting You do? What's the organization about?
It's a one-man show, one-woman show. Much like how it goes for solopreneurs. I do a lot of work with women, yes, but I do a lot of work with people of color. I do enjoy working with women because I feel that I relate to them better and they relate to me better as well.
Because of the lived experiences.
Yes, and not only that, I personally, because I said that, I'm a proud feminist, I wouldn't want a man telling me what to do. Right? Not that they're wrong, don't get me wrong there, but I understand that struggle from a female perspective. And therefore,
you've not been in their shoes, so
exactly right.
There are often times you might be like not judging properly.
Exactly, and therefore I like working with women, and because I'm a migrant myself, I add that to it, where I work with their inner leadership. It's not just about professional workplaces. It's about community organizations, whether you're a volunteer, a parent, a stay-at-home parent, whatever it is. But I work with them to find their inner leadership, to find where they feel comfortable with who they are today.
Yeah.
Right? But what I do differently is I don't tell them that their culture is bad and therefore they should let go of it. So I work with them without them abandoning their cultural identity, without assimilating and integrating, two words I don't like at all, right, into the cultures that they're in, and just work with them. All of us, whichever color of skin we are, whatever ethnicity we are, wherever we come from, we all have bouts of low confidence, low self-esteem, from time to time and stuff like that. And we all want to work through those things. So I choose to work with women of color and people of color who are migrants. So yeah.
Beautiful. You have like lots of powerful stories. You lived across various continents. Tell us a bit about it.
Oh my goodness. So I'll use a Hindi word. The word is zid, which means determination and stubbornness mostly. My father is a nuclear physicist.
Okay.
And he used to travel outside of India quite a bit for lectures, for professor stuff, for research, and all of those things. And my mother decided when we were young, because you know how class 10 and class 12 is in India, right? She said before they reach that stage, I don't want to be limiting them and myself to the experiences that are outside of India. So she would drag us with, with my dad. And we'd be there, especially when he was going for long time, like 2 years, 3 years stints and stuff like that. So we got to live in Germany. We got to live in the United States. Obviously, we grew up in India. And now I'm raising my own in Australia. So it's been an experience of sorts.
Yeah. So how has those experiences shaped? Was there anything in particular that you can give credit to shaping who you are today?
I think my
Your childhood experiences per se.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with, there are two sides, or I should say multiple sides to every experience. For me, that kind of constant moving meant I was constantly reinventing myself. Because I wanted to fit in, because I wanted to belong,
Yeah.
Whether it was the popular kids or the nerd kids or the non-nerd kids or the creative kids, whatever it was, schooling and all those things. And then, of course, when you're a teenager, you want to be, part of something.
Have your own
belong.
gang.
Yes, exactly. You want to have your own friend groups and things
Hang
like
out,
that,
yeah.
and hangouts and stuff like that. Plus, also what happens is, because we are coded to belong, to want to belong for safety, right?
Psychological safety.
Psychological safety, just to feel being surrounded by familiar people, familiar smells and sounds. So all that was there. So I was walking through all of those things, through those different countries that we lived in, and then coming back to the country that I am from and not fitting there as well.
Tell us a bit about that. It's really interesting you say that you don't fit when you go back.
I don't.
Tell us a bit about why do you feel like that?
When I do, I'm not going to say that I don't have Indian friends. I have loads of Indian friends, right? But a larger diaspora may or may not relate with me, and I experienced it firsthand a few times, especially when we would be outside of India, right? I'll explain both the sides. Where I was not Indian enough for the non-Indians because I wasn't sari, bindi, talking with an accent, and what does they say in The Simpsons? The head nod, all those things wasn't happening. But then when I would come back, because I had spent that much of my formative years outside of India, I wasn't Indian enough.
Yeah, so that's what shaped who you were.
Exactly. So I was othered in my experience by all the sets of people, right? And that does shape a person because you want to belong, like I said before, right? As you're growing up, you want at least one familiar face when you walk into somewhere, right? Whether you're dancing or you're in a sports club, you're doing whatever, you want to say hi to someone who is not the teacher, right? So, kind of a thing. So those kind of experiences, along with the bigotry that happens, along with the racism that happens, along with the sexism that happens. Of course, these are adult words. I didn't know them then. Those have shaped me into who I am and have colored the way I think, sometimes correctly, sometimes not, but also added to the passion of what I do with Unmuting You or what I did with Dual Nation. Yeah.
Excellent. I see a pattern where all my guests, most of my guests, they had like a childhood trauma or something of the sort. And the good thing is, instead of sitting with that feeling, they have chosen to do something with that and change it into a positive story for themselves. So I really appreciate you for that.
I have been listening to the previous guests that you've had, and I was like, I hard relate to all of them.
Some flavor or the other, always.
Yes, of course.
Matches,
of course, yes.
So before you started Unmuting You, or even after you started for that matter, have you ever yourself felt you've been muted?
Oh, yes. Oh my God, yes. It is not one moment. There are so many. Just like all of who we are today, every facet of us is colored by so many different incidents, so many different experiences, right? There are so many, whether it was, and I was, as you had sent this across to me, I was thinking, what do I tell Neelima? Which one do I tell Neelima about? Is it this one or that one? But I'll start with one. The first one that I have cognitive memory of is literally standing against a wall in the school in class 1 in India. And we had just come back in from Germany. I had short hair. I was wearing cord pants. I still remember it was cream-colored pants. And I was wearing a T-shirt because, well, I'd just come back from Germany, right? So I'm wearing a lot of Western clothes. And I was speaking in English versus the Hindi or the Bangla because I grew up in Kolkata.
So used
right?
to that kind of language. Yeah.
So I was in civvies because it was the first day of school. My uniform hadn't arrived and all those things, right? I was wearing those things, standing against the wall with literally kids surrounding me, making fun of me because I was speaking in English, because I was wearing pants. Because girls don't wear pants, right?
Yeah. But those sort of subtle movements leave an impression on you for life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100% they do. And so that was there. Then there would be teachers who would say, Richa, enough. Richa, sit down. Richa, don't do that. Richa, you can't play cricket because you're a girl. Or swim coaches saying, and I'm a pudgy girl. I'm a big girl. I've always been a big girl. You're too fat to swim. I'm like, what?
The body shaming.
Yes, body shame. So different moments where it was said. And then over time I felt that I'd become so sharpened to those things that even if someone wasn't saying it or meaning it, it would be a trigger for me.
Trigger for you,
right?
yeah.
And I would imagine that they're thinking that way. And that kind of internalization as a child follows you into teenage years and then follows you into adulthood, right? You mentioned some of your previous, all of your previous guests have had different things that have happened, some experiences, and they've used that experience to turn it into something positive for others, so others don't feel what you felt, right? Yes, we have, but it's also as an adult that happens. When you're a child, you don't realize those things because you're trying to make sense of things, right?
Correct, yeah.
So they've done, and all of them are so wonderful. I love all of them.
You're wonderful. You're a wonderful person. I always, my memories of you, Richa, you're very open-minded, very positive, always smiling, someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, not hesitant, and always helpful and looking for taking people under her wing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't get any of those things growing up. So you see what I meant by saying that. Yeah.
So that's about unmuting you. And you also have another venture, rightfully, Dual Nation. So you just mentioned a little bit about Dual Nation by not belonging to either this nation or the other nation. Again, kudos to you for choosing that name, Dual Nation. I often have my feet into two boats.
Man. Tell me about that.
So tell us a little bit about Dual Nation.
So, I was listening to your episode recording with Prina, right? And she mentioned a politician's name. And I was laughing so hard, right? Because that politician affected the idea behind Dual Nation. So what happened was that Dual Nation came about around a time when, and it's so funny that we're crediting, both Prina and I, we're crediting Pauline Hanson for this, for doing something positive that way. But Pauline Hanson at that time was, and which she's doing now again, was dominating all those conversations about migrants and migration and how we're not the right people, blah, 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 the usual, right? And she was touching on the concept of national identity, right? At the same time, our firstborn was about 2.5 years old when I was expecting our second child. And they came back from daycare one day and said, Mama, please clean me harder so the brown comes off. That dirty, nobody wants to play with me.
That's a shame.
Yes. So all those things were happening at the same time. And that reminded me really sharply, reminded me of how I was treated when I was a child in the United States, right? Oh, do you live on trees? Do you have elephants? And I actually used to be flip and say, yes, I'm a queen, I'm a princess, blah, blah, blah. But it also reminded me of my father's students who would go to different countries for research purposes, and they would feel othered because of the color of their skin or their, ethnicity. And then I just said, you know what? We are here. We are contributing members, not just me as Richa or my children or my husband. We are here. There's so many migrants, and politically they're talking about all of this and making us look bad, which is not true. So that's how Dual Nation came about. And
so what is Dual Nation all about? Like, what does the organization do?
Well, so I closed Dual Nation a couple of years ago because it got too much for me. And then Unmuting You was happening at the same time as well. So I felt that this was Unmuting You for me at that junction was the way I wanted to change the narrative.
That's your calling at the time. Yeah.
So Dual Nation was, yes, it was a product-based business. And I would put 2 different flags or 3 different flags or whatever flags that the people identified with to basically bring back to them the idea that they can coexist. It is not a blue-colored piece of a small notebook that you pay for, right? That is your only identity because everything else is visual, right?
Yes.
The color of your skin, how you talk, what you wear, the festivals you celebrate or don't celebrate. Everything is also part of your identity. And just because you get a piece of paper and then someone says, you're Aussie now, it doesn't mean that everything else is gone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create that
embrace
pride.
both.
And that you can coexist with all of those different identities. And growing up as a third culture kid, that was brought in really sharp. So that's what Dual Nation was doing. I did close it, like I said before, but the entire idea behind Dual Nation was about identity, about belonging, and what it means to embrace all those worlds that you have within you as your identity. Yeah.
I was following some of your podcasts that you did with other guests. And I kind of made a note for myself because my underlying message from your podcast was like, explaining myself is too much. I can't be bothered. Feel free to judge me. I don't need to explain myself over and over. Feel free to judge me. So after your experiences from childhood and after you have started Unmuting You, which is such a powerful organization which helps women, especially women of color, to have more confidence, more resilience, and show up as their authentic self, are there still moments when you feel vulnerable and not strong enough?
Yes, right now. I'm like, what is she going to ask me? Am I going to end up, telling her something which I do want to share? Yeah. Yes, there are. Because those triggers from when I was younger or even say a week ago are still fresh. Does that mean that I don't sit with them and process them? I do. But the thing is that the emotional connection that we build, that we put towards events or incidents or something like that, that just serves to kind of reopen the wounds, right? So something's smarting, something's hurting, right? Until we deal with it or we learn how to manage it or understand it, it does feel like that. When I come on podcasts and whether it's with friends like you or with people who book me in, I always try to be vulnerable because being fake is not something I like being. I was fake for a long time. Pretending to, wanting to belong. I want to be this one's friend, that one's friend, this one's friend, teacher's pet, leader, blah, 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 all those things. So I stopped being there. So vulnerability is what you said, heart on the sleeve kind of a thing. But then it comes out when you make environments that feel safe for me to be vulnerable. Otherwise, there's... It's always there, yeah.
Nice. Excellent. So tell us a bit about your children. They have seen both versions of you.
Oh, those
multiple versions. You wear multiple hats. you empower a lot of people. So what's your family side? Like, what do they think about you? Do you actually sit down with them, explain?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. One of the things that my husband and I decided a long time ago, especially once we had our firstborn, was that when they come to the age where they understand, age-appropriate stuff, any major decisions, not buying milk and bread, right? Major decisions, we're going to move here, we're going to go here, we will involve them. Not because they were of deciding age or they could contribute meaningfully to it, but so they felt like they were part of the decision-making process, to give them that ownership, right? So when Dual Nation was happening, they used to wear my shirts. They were my unpaid labor.
Marketing.
100%. And because kids look cute, right? So I use them for that. They were very taken with, and as they grew older, they were very taken with same but different podcasts as well, different things I was talking about. My husband is my staunchest supporter. And he always says, he said, and I'll say it in Hindi, "Yaar, you're better than this." Yeah, which means, for those who don't understand Hindi, yaar is friend. Friend, you are better than this, kind of a thing. So he'll say those things. And do they like what I do with Unmuting You? Sometimes we have loads of discussions about why it is this way, why it shouldn't be, why it is systemic, right? Why certain things will happen, and why Mama is doing this. Because Mama wants to make a better world. Very selfish people. I'm very selfish. I want to make a better world for my kids. I do care about your kids, but I want to make it better for my kids first. So
it's ripple effects.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yes, if once you start it somewhere, then it's going to go all around.
Exactly.
Improve lots of people's lives. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Cool. So one of your other programs is also called The Whole Leader. The Whole Leader. What does being whole leader mean?
So there are 3 signature programs that I run under the Unmuting You banner. One of them is Speak Up Anyway, where we talk about the voice as to understand whose voice are we hearing. Is it ours? Is it someone else's? And we unpack that. The second leadership program that I run, and it is inner leadership, not just climbing up the corporate ladder, right? Is called Unshaming the Self, because a lot of our experiences and from my training as a coach, we attach shame to a lot of things. We won't do this because this, right? So how do we learn how to understand that, right? Yeah. And the Whole Leader brings elements of both those 2 programs and talks about inner leadership by adding the fear of judgment to it.
Oh, okay.
So layers of that. Yeah. Because what I was finding over a period of years working with women or men, and even community organizations, was that, yes, they want to climb if they're working, they want to do that. If they're not working, they want to be in control of what they're doing, kind of a thing, and feel like they're contributing, right, to their family dynamics. But there was a fine line. So there was this door outside the house. They're like, all those things. But as soon as they stepped over what I call the dahliz, the door, right, the doorway, there was someone else. Now the thing is, yes, we do dress differently when we come out of the house. We talk a bit differently. We show up a bit differently when we are outside our home, right? And at home, we're doing whatever, right? But when these 2 selves have that dissonance.
The disconnect.
Yeah, the disconnect, right? That's when we start questioning everything.
Yeah.
And that was happening for a lot of the people I was working with. Yeah. So that's how The Whole Leader came. Sorry, it's a big novel.
No,
but
it's very interesting because that's also a part of my story as well. Yes. Last time I spoke about being my authentic self. So after a certain point, it becomes too suffocating to try to act all the time, like you said, just earlier.
Yeah.
So if you've lived in this country for 20 years and if you've worked in this country for 20 years and you also have your authentic self, who you are by values, by religion, by customs, it's not always possible to always hide those and then appear strong and successful, because you come as a whole leader. So you embrace both facets of yourself, your values, your culture, your identity, your religion, as well as who you are in technology space as a leader, as an Australian citizen.
Yeah,
so it comes with embracing both sides of the story.
110%.
And that's the authenticity.
Yes.
And then I think I strongly feel that for me, feeling complete, feeling at home is being authentic. So today I feel at home. I was not feeling at home 10 years ago, or maybe even 2 years ago. I can't remember when I changed. But since I started embracing both aspects and brought my authentic self to any platform, whether it is my podcast or whether it is a work engagement, that's when I feel very comfortable in my skin. And that's when I feel I'm home.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that is what you are trying to achieve as well with unmuting you.
Exactly. Because what I was finding, not just with my clients, also with myself, where I found myself floundering, and you've heard that conversation from last year, was that I was finding myself not being able to look at it sounds like a very simple thing, but look at myself in the mirror, meet my own eyes. Not because there was shame, not because there was fear, not because there was disappointment, not because there was anger, not because all those things. It was all of those things. Not because my husband says, "Yeah, you're better than this," right? Or you can do better than this. But because when I would look at myself in the mirror, not to assess, oh, is the makeup looking right? Or is my hair looking... Not because of that. When I would look at myself in the mirror, I would look at her and be like...
The real person is missing.
Exactly, is missing. And I'm not, I wasn't... And I won't use words like happy or joyous or at peace. I wasn't liking... myself, not the physicality of it, just not liking myself.
Can I ask if you feel home today, as of now, in this moment?
Right now with you, yes. With you and all the people we met last year, yes, because that's why you heard me speak so much. But there are also moments where I don't feel at home, right? And that could be because the environment is not... I don't feel safe enough to be 100% myself. So do I bide my time? Yes. When it gets too much, I do speak up. I don't stop myself. Do I feel at home 100%? No. I don't think I will.
Not all the time.
Not
only
all the
at certain
time.
times.
Yeah, only certain times, yeah. With certain people.
Wow. That's interesting. And the segment title is The Hidden Emotional Cost of Being a Strong Woman. Because whenever I look at you... I perceive you as very strong woman, and I never guess that you will have moments of vulnerability or moments where you feel you're not home. So what is the hidden cost? What is it that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis?
I have to deal with myself. Knowing that I can... and I want to be a certain way, and knowing that I'm not doing it. That's the cost right there, right? And that is why I can't sometimes see myself in the mirror and look at her and say, Richa, you're awesome, you know, those kind of things. But for me, the cost is loss of time. Because we're not getting 2020 back. We're not getting 1978 back, right?
Life is short.
Life is short, right?
Yeah.
So we don't get that. So it's a loss of time, a loss of opportunities, a loss of chances that I could have done. So there's a lot of could have, would have, and that tussle is there. Am I strong? Yes. So there's always that duality with me where I am, at least right now with you and last year when we all met that first time, I am a strong person. I'm very proud of building myself the way I have through all the nonsensical stuff that has happened to me or done to me or have experienced. But there are moments of doubt. And I won't call it imposter syndrome. It's just conditioning, right? There are moments of, is that what they mean?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. Second guessing yourself.
Even like when I'm going to start driving home, I'm going to think about what I said with you. Is this going to be good for Neelima's show? Did I present myself the way I want to show up on a podcast as important as yours talking about? So I will do that. That's not schizophrenia, people. That's not that. That's not multiple that we all do it.
Yeah.
Right? So there are those moments. Am I a strong person? Yes, I am.
Okay. So sometimes the loudest battle isn't external, it's the voice inside our head. It just resonates with what you just said.
I know, right?
So I'm happy to hear that you're dealing okay.
Yeah.
With the voice in your head.
Oh, yes. Those voices I've learned.
What are some of the sources that you would probably recommend to people who are like going through something similar? How do you deal with it, and what would you advise?
So I'll give you first a medical advice. If you have a hormonal or a chemical imbalance, please do seek help, because there is help out there. Right? Because that is completely out of your control, and it is not something that can be regulated through coaching. It can be regulated through, I'm not saying use medication, I'm just saying if that is what is needed, right? And there are psychotherapists and psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists and counselors who specialize in those things. So please seek help. If it is something that can be worked with coaching, find someone. You don't want to do all of that? Please talk to someone. Tell someone. Especially tell someone who you can trust, right? Meaning, not meaning that, they're just going to say yes, but they'll actually sit and listen, fully listen to you.
Non-judgmental.
And not be judgmental and not be toxically positive about it. Oh, it'll be okay, But actually sit and listen, because listening is something we are forgetting to do as humans as well, right? We just don't listen to the layers behind the words that are being said, right? So find someone who you can talk to. If nothing helps, write. Make an anonymous blog, write. But get it out there, because you're not alone in those feelings. Whatever iterations there are, whatever influences there are 8.3 plus billion people in the world. There is definitely many more people who've felt some aspect of it. So tell somebody.
Nice. So who was your influence, or someone who has motivated you or helped you along this journey?
Books.
Wow.
Books, podcasts. I read this book quite a few times because it helps me understand different things at different times. I love the book, The Body Keeps Score. I've had it for 12 years, and it's earmarked like crazy, and I'll write notes against it. I'm that messy writer. I'll write notes, this happened, or I'll relate it to maybe a client I'm working with. So I love that book. One of the books that I am also currently reading, this is rereading, is actually Marine Faruqi's Too Muslim, Too Immigrant.
Okay.
Right? And I'm reading that again because of what is happening in the country right now, right? And I'm just like, I want to be centered on understanding that from a person who is from a different faith, and that too in a very public space, and what they're doing. So yeah, those are the ones. But podcasts, when podcasts started happening, I was listening to a lot. I remember in the beginning I said, I am from India, right? In India, we don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about therapy. We don't talk about counseling. Happens to everybody. It is okay. I'm not putting India and Indians down. It is just that what was happening at that time when I was growing up. So I don't have that. Do I have confidants? Yes, my besties. They will see this and they'll know exactly what I mean. They're there. It's a WhatsApp message. And we have our codes, and we'll be like, and that's it, done. So I found it that way. That's what has helped me. Yeah. Am I healed? Am I fully zen? No. Not at all. I don't think that's going to happen. We're
It's
too
a
human for that.
process.
It's a process. And we're not all Dalai Lama or Buddha, and all those things. That's
Human.
Yeah, we're just human. That's
Yeah.
it. So things will happen. And when I go, if my car has been dinged, I will be affected by that. So it's going to happen. Life happens and we process accordingly. Yeah.
Nice. All right. It's a lot of serious stuff. Let me cheer you up a little bit. We're almost up to my rapid fire round now.
I've been hearing Prina, Ravia, and Pramila on it. I'm like, oh my God, what is she going to ask me?
No, this is totally different.
Let's go for it.
Okay, you ready? All right, you know the rules. So it's just one single word that comes to your mind. When I ask you this question, this set of 5 questions. And I've made it, I've rejigged my questions a bit. So it's going to be tough for you. You're a tough person.
Goodness,
You can handle this.
No way. Let's do this.
Okay, I think one thing I've already asked you, maybe touched a little bit. If healing had a soundtrack, what song would you be on at the moment?
Oh my God. Dang. One song.
Can be any language.
No. There is a song. There's this song that always gets me very excited. And yes, it's not your rapid fire one word. It's from The Greatest Showman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? And I love that song about, this is my fight song. I love that song. And every time it comes on, I'm like,
This is it.
That's it. That's my song.
Good. Well done. I'll have to listen to it. I haven't
Oh,
heard
it's
it.
wonderful. I'll send you a recording of my children singing it.
Cool. All right, the next one. What's one thing people assume about strong women that is completely wrong?
That they're strong. Simple. That they are strong. There is a complete
Presumption.
assumption, they're not strong, because what happens is when we start thinking of X, Y, or Z, whether it's a man or a woman or even physically strong, we think they're strong. They look outwardly strong. What has happened before to get them to that space, or at least for them to project that?
The whole journey.
Oh my God, it's not strong. It's so many failures, so many losses, so
Setbacks.
many reinventions and setbacks and learnings, right, that make them that. Right? So the assumption that someone is strong also does something really wrong. We don't ask them, are you okay?
Are you okay? Yeah.
Are you doing all right? They're strong. They can handle this. They will be okay. So everybody forgets about them. Right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that
well
is
said. All right. The next one. We all have lots of childhood conditioning and beliefs. But what is one belief that you had to unlearn?
that I'm capable.
So you had to unlearn that?
I had to learn that I'm capable by unlearning that I'm incapable. So
Right. Okay. That's beautiful.
it's scary. But I had to learn how to not believe that I was incapable.
Not to let someone else's perceptions define your path.
Yes, exactly right. Well, see, there you go. I don't have to do any more talking.
Nice. What gives you strength during difficult times?
That I can. I have it tattooed on me. I am enough.
Wow. That's so wonderful. You are enough.
That's it. That's what keeps me going. I am enough.
So good. I've never noticed it, but
I know, because we were doing, when we were all meeting, it used to be cold, so we always had like full sleeves and stuff on, right?
Yeah, I know. That's nice. All right, you're doing pretty good. Now we're up to the last one. I think this is a difficult one. Finish this sentence. A woman becomes powerful when?
She believes in herself.
Wow. Excellent. You've done really cool.
Yay!
I didn't expect we'll finish so quickly.
Oh, well, we can. I'm a talker. I can keep going on and on.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So this is a special segment I just introduced last episode with Preena. Advice section, your advice section.
dangerous.
So I just have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. Because you have a wealth of knowledge and lived experience. And I heard lots of inspiring stories from your conversations. So I put 2 very important questions that I wanted to know the answers for. Selfishly, I put it for myself. If there is someone listening today and you wanted them to remember just one message from your whole journey, what would it be?
I want them to remember that the voice in their head is not always theirs. It can be their mother's voice, their uncle's voice, their teacher's voice, a workplace person's voice, and all of those things. Sometimes it's an old story that we have carried for so long inside our heads that we start believing that that is our voice, okay? But I want them to remember that there is a voice under all of that that is uniquely theirs, right? And when those listening and in the future as well, when they start trusting that voice, magic.
So there's a lot of noise around you.
Yes.
Just ignore the voice.
Just ignore it. And it's not just about meditation or yoga or finding a coach. It's just that because when we finally start listening to what is ours, our voice, that's when we decide that we are returning to who we were. We are strong. We are capable, and that we can do those things and that we are enough, kind of a thing. So trust that voice. That is yours. It's underneath all of that noise, all that conditioning, all of the things that have happened to you throughout your lifetime. There is a voice that is yours.
Authentic voice.
That's it. Just remember.
Beautiful. It's a great advice.
It's an advice I've learned through many, many years of working through it.
Okay. So the next one is there like a particular example you would like to give? How would using your own voice look like? Just to put things in perspective.
Of course. So a lot of times what happens is when I started telling people and organizations that I was back in the coaching arena, whether it was people from India or the US or even here, they're like, oh my God, Richa, you speak so well. Well, let's do a public speaking workshop and this thing and that thing. And that got me thinking about this whole concept of what you just asked, right? So when you asked that question, I was thinking about it because a lot of times people think that using their voice means just talking louder, right? Or being a bit more forceful. It's not about that. For me, I think a lot of people go through life believing that they're broken. Because something has happened. It always happens to me. Why does it happen to me? Why do they have all the et cetera, right? But what they don't realize is that they have been adapting to the different environments and situations that they have been in. And therefore they haven't been able to be themselves, right? So to give an example for using your voice, it could be when they are speaking up, even when they feel uncomfortable. And a lot of times, that is when the speaking up is required. Using their voice is required, even if they're feeling uncomfortable. For some, it can look like speaking up in a meeting or even going to their next up, and saying, I'm perfect for this project.
Yeah.
Give it to me, kind of a thing. For saying no. It can look like that as well.
Having your boundaries, yeah.
Exactly, your boundaries. For leaving a relationship. For changing careers.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We have a conversation after this to do about that as well, you and I. Also, for a lot of people who are migrants, especially women and women of color, actually saying, I want this for me.
Not having the guilt to ask what you want.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is what using your voice means for me, where they can use that voice, where it's not just about volume. It's also, I guess, it's also very important for us to understand that using your voice also means being able to have those uncomfortable conversations with yourself. Oh, I did wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Oh, I said wrong, Or, yes, I am fat.
Yeah.
Yes, I am lacking in this, having those uncomfortable.
I think success doesn't come without failures.
100%, never does.
Don't beat yourself up for being something, For having a bad day, for example. If you
yes.
have a bad day, you don't need to beat yourself up.
It happens to everyone. Trust me, I had a bad day this morning coming to just before school.
Cool. It was really wonderful talking to you, Richa. Was there any final words that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Life will throw you a lot of different curveballs, a lot of different trophies, a lot of haha moments, a lot of crying in the pillow moments. When that is happening, we are not able to understand why is it happening, right? Or we're not able to quantify just how wondrous that is or how great that is and whatever else, right? But if we spend time, even if it's 10 minutes every day, just listening to ourselves, our voice, then we will actually be able to learn from all of those things, because each of them has something to teach us, right? Now, I'm an atheist, so I'm not big on religion or spirituality or anything else, but I do believe everything and every moment has something to teach, but only if you're aware.
You're listening.
You're listening. And actually
paying
listening.
attention.
Yeah, paying attention to it, right?
Yeah.
So, trust yourself. You are enough. You are worthy. You are important. You exist for a reason, even if that reason doesn't make any sense to you now.
At the moment.
At
it
the
might
moment,
make sense later. Yeah.
But you are here for a reason. However small, however big, whatever it is, you're here for a reason. Just, you are enough.
Wow. Beautifully said. Excellent. I don't have any closing note after that beautiful statement from you. So, Richa, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge with our audience. And one thing that resonated with me is having a voice does not have to mean a loud voice or a boisterous voice or talking or being full of yourself. Having a voice can often mean subtle signs like sitting down with yourself, listening to your voice. What do me as an individual need for my well-being? And the other important message I took away is if you find a strong woman or if you see someone and perceive them as really strong, don't often assume that they're not vulnerable. They'll have their moments of self-doubt. And it makes all the sense to ask someone, are you okay? Are you doing okay? Or do you need any help? And the third important message that I took away from this conversation is you don't have to belong to one nation or the other. You can have
Definitely don't belong to one nation, okay?
you can have both aspects.
Yes.
Because both are ultimately your lived experiences and your wisdom. Because growing up, you grew up in this particular environment and that shaped who you are as an individual. But your lived experience is mostly coming from this nation. So you are like a combination of both. It's your superpower.
Yeah.
And that's how we empower each other and build communities which are cohesive and make life peaceful and meaningful for everyone.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you for that,
Thank you so
Richa.
much for having me, Neelima.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for everyone listening, if this story resonated with you, please feel free to reach out to me, DM me and Instagram me. There are a lot of other stories waiting to be heard, and we need your support to bring this show forward. So please go to Buy Me a Coffee page and support me as much as you can, and that will help me in bringing more stories like this, more authentic, more powerful, and making all our lives meaningful. Thank you. Good night. God bless.